Hello viewers, welcome to Big Man Business YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about Ecuador's top imports and exports. Keep watching, we got you covered. Ecuador imported $17.8 billion in commodities from throughout the world in 2020, an increase of 10% over 2016 but a minus 20.5% decrease from 2019 to 2020. The official currency of Ecuador is the US dollar. Ecuador's major trade partners. According to the most recent country-specific data available, Ecuador imported 77.4% of its products from the following countries. The United States contributes 22.3% of the global total, China with 22.2%, Colombia with 8.3%, Brazil with 3.7%, Peru with 3.4%, Mexico with 3.3%, Germany with 2.7%, Spain also with 2.7%, Chile with 2.5%, South Korea with 2.2%, Japan with 2.1%, and Canada with 2.1%. From a continental viewpoint, Asian countries accounted for approximately a third or 33.7% of Ecuador's total imports by value in 2020. North American imports accounted for another 27.7% of total imports. Following closely behind were suppliers from Latin American countries with 24%, omitting Mexico but including the Caribbean, and finally European suppliers with 14.4%. Africa with 0.15% and Oceania with 0.1%, led by Australia, had smaller percentages. Given Ecuador's population of 17.5 million people, the country's total imports of $17.8 billion in 2020 equates to nearly $1,000 in annual product demand for each individual in the northwestern South American country. If you're new to the Big Man Business YouTube channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive updates on new business expert videos. For more international business news and updates, please visit www.bigmanbusiness.com. Ecuador's top 10 imports. The following product groups account for the majority of Ecuador's imports in 2020. The percentage share of each product category in terms of total imports into Ecuador is also indicated. Mineral fuels including oil, $2.8 billion account for 15.8% of total imports. Machinery including computers, $2.1 billion accounts for 11.6%. Electrical machinery, equipment, $1.5 billion accounts for 8.5%. Vehicles, $1.3 billion accounts for 7.3%. Pharmaceuticals, $1.1 billion accounts for 5.9%. Plastics, plastic articles, $852.6 million accounts for 4.8%. Food industry waste, animal fodder, $793.3 million accounts for 4.5%. Other chemical goods, $509.6 million accounts for 2.9%. Iron, steel, $495.6 million account for 2.8%. Optical, technical, medical apparatus, $432.9 million accounts for 2.4%. Ecuador's top 10 imports accounted for nearly two-thirds of the total value of its goods acquisitions from other nations or 66.5%. In terms of money spent on Ecuadorian import goods, pharmaceuticals climbed by 8.8% from 2019 to 2020. Miscellaneous chemical goods were the only other top product category to increase by 2.8%. Imported autos came down by minus 39.5% and mineral fuels, including oil, were the biggest losers year over year, down by minus 35.7%. Ecuador's top 10 exports. Ecuador, which is located in northwestern South America, exported $20.2 billion worth of commodities around the world in 2020. This figure represents a 20.4% gain from 2016 to 2019, but a minus 9.4% reduction from 2019 to 2020. The official currency of Ecuador is the US dollar. Crude oil, crustaceans such as lobsters, bananas, and plantains, preserved or prepared fish and caviar, and fresh or dried flowers for bouquets or other ornamental purposes are Ecuador's top 5 exports. These 5 primary items account for 70.2% of Ecuador's overall exports in terms of value. Mineral fuels including oil, $5.3 billion account for 26.2% of total exports. Fish, $4.2 billion account for 20.6%. Fruits, nuts, $3.9 billion account for 19.2%. Meat/seafood preparations, $1.2 billion account for 5.9%. Cocoa, $935 million account for 4.6%. Live trees, plants, cut flowers, $845.7 million accounts for 4.2%. Wood, $822.2 million account for 4.1%. Ores, slag, ash, $539.8 million account for 2.7%. Gems, precious metals, $402 million account for 2%. Vegetable/fruit/nut preparations, $237.5 million account for 1.2%. The top 10 exports from Ecuador accounted for 90.7% of the total value of its global shipments. The fastest growing export category among the top 10 was ore, slag, and ash, which increased by 309.7% from 2019 to 2020. Gems and precious metals came in second with a 96.9% increase in export sales, owing to substantially larger income for percent exported gold. Ecuador's wood shipments grew at the third fastest rate, increasing by 77.3%. Mineral fuels, including oil, were the largest decliner among Ecuador's top 10 export categories, with a minus 39.4% yearly loss owing to lower sales of crude oil and, to a lesser extent, refined petroleum oils. In 2022, crude oil will be Ecuador's most valuable exported product at the 4-digit Harmonized Tariff System code level, or 23.2% of its overall total. Lobsters and other crustaceans came in second with 19%, followed by bananas and plantains with 18.2%, preserved or prepared fish and caviar with 5.8%, fresh or dried flowers with 4.1%, cocoa beans with 4%, refined petroleum oils with 2.8%, sawnwood with 2%, and gold with 2%. Ecuador's total exported goods account for 10.1% of the country's overall gross domestic product, valued at $201.2 billion in purchasing power parity US dollars in 2020. In PPP terms, exports will account for 10.1% of overall GDP in 2020, compared to 11% in 2019. Those percentages imply that Ecuador's entire economic performance is becoming less reliant on products sold on international markets, albeit over a short period of time. The unemployment rate is another important measure of a country's economic performance. According to the International Monetary Fund, Ecuador's average unemployment rate for 2020 was 5.267%, up from 3.84% a year earlier. Quito is the capital of Ecuador. Thanks for watching this video. We are open to suggestions. Kindly drop your comments in the comment box, and don't forget to subscribe to the Big Man Business YouTube channel. See you in the next video.